Hello. This freedom whence, John Wesley, Bready, page 130, in the chapter The Shaping of a Crusade, about the growth of Methodism, their marvelous organization. This section is entitled Indispensable Aids. The class meeting was a unique and peculiarly interesting aspect of the Society's development. Its origin provides a glimpse of the environment in which the revival worked. The rapid growth of the movement, with its continual demand for the erection of new meeting houses and its large monetary outlay on help for the poor, necessitated the inauguration of a sound scheme of finance. To this end, certain Bristol leaders in February 1742 met for consultation, and on the suggestion of Captain Foy it was agreed, 1. That every member of the society who was able contribute a penny a week, 2. That the whole society be divided into little classes, about 12 in each, 3. That one person in each class receive the contribution of the rest and bring it to the stewards weekly. It is noteworthy that many members were too poor to afford even a penny a week, but the leader of each class called weekly on every member of his group, took notice of the conditions in which he lived, collected the pennies of those who could pay, and himself made good the deficit of the unfortunate. This was the humble origin of what gradually developed into one of the world's greatest systems of voluntary finance. Moreover, it is significant that a generation after Wesley's death, when Lord Shaftesbury, Michael Sadler, Richard Ostler, Reverend R.J. Stevens, Reverend G.S. Bull, Philip Grant, and John Wood, all ardent evangelicals, were leading the epic struggle for the 10 hours bill, and thus winning the Magna Charta of the English workers' liberty, they financed the organization of factory operatives by borrowing bodily the scheme of the Methodist Class Meeting. But Wesley's eye soon discovered for these class units a deeper purpose than the raising of finance. In this class group he found the desire of his heart, a vehicle for the personal supervision of every member of the societies. This is the very thing, he declared, the very thing we have wanted so long. Hence it was soon arranged that the members of each class should assemble weekly, and in these class meetings the sexes, convening separately under their respective leaders, who acted in the capacity of lay pastors, the members discussed the most intimate problems of life and encouraged one another to fight a good fight. Here all men were brothers, all women were sisters, and all members were pledged to secrecy regarding personal confessions. Had not these class meetings been conducted in an atmosphere where all questions were raised aloft, where pettiness, vanity, animosity, and revenge were unthinkable, where faith, hope, and love reigned, they might easily have degenerated into centers of gossip, petulance, and scandal. And here he has a little nursery rhyme. There was an old fellow of Crewe who discovered a mouse in his stew. Said the waiter, "Don't shout and wave it about, or the rest will be wanting one too." There certainly were old fellows of Crewe in those early class meetings. Many a mouse too got into the stew, but members learned never to shout and wave them about. Confessions of failure, defeat, and sin were heard in their respective classes by men and women who not long before would have gloated over the opportunities for tongue-wagging, but now, with changed hearts, in a spirit of fellowship, they listened to such confessions with downcast eyes and sympathetic hearts, thinking of all that God, for Christ's sake, had forgiven them. All now were their brother's keepers. All helped to heal the wounds of sin. All strove together to keep open the springs of grace. And however painful were temporary defeats, the note of triumph prevailed. Among the 10,000 or more class leaders whom Wesley must have personally known were surely some of the most lovely characters in England. Lovely because of the breadth of their Christian sympathy and the depth of their Christian understanding. Lovely too because of their set aspirations towards perfectionism through communion with Christ. These humble class leaders were chiefly men and women at whom the smart world long laughed. But even cynicism came in time to be hushed before their sincerity and their integrity. Their wisdom, too, was more penetrating than that of the sagacious waiter, for it came of a regenerated heart, and expressed itself in a fellowship with all who followed after what they knew and had not yet attained. The class meeting spirit is perfectly portrayed in a verse all members love to sing. And here's the song. If our fellowship below in Jesus be so sweet, what heights of rapture shall we know when round his throne we meet? The stimulus afforded by these countless class meetings to the moral uplift, spiritual growth, educational development, and organized social endeavor of the disinherited multitudes of England, it is impossible to calculate. Professor Rogers had them in mind when he expressed his conviction that without the prior help of the Wesleyan revival, the mass of the peasants could not have been moved at all. In the preaching services, the converts caught their vision and turned toward their goal. In the class meetings, they found their spiritual school, where, under trusted leaders, they grouped together to work out their salvation and to discuss reverently their attitude to the social, ethical, and religious problems of daily life. The class meeting was something wholly new to English life and wholly beautiful. It became a mighty civilizing as well as spiritualizing force. Next time, Bready goes into the great blessing of the itinerant preachers.